Adam and Peter explore the crazy new world.
Peter, what's going on in the crazy AI world?
A lot. Too much, actually. Every day, new things to learn. Every hour. You can just spend ages on exploring what's happening. Found a link which is about all these tools that come up every day, and you just can get in a keyword like "show me only the free versions," and then it's an endless scroll down of apps that pop up every day. So like you could lose all the time of the day just trying to catch up with what's going on, and this is absolutely crazy. But for this week, I have something which I also wanted to share, like aha moment for me, and this has to do with image generation. You know, all these kind of image generation tools, DALL-E, Midjourney, whatever they are called. And
so I'm curious, what is the new thing that you want to tell us?
I'm not sure what it's a new thing. It's just for me like a aha moment to see what is the right wording. And I was asking myself, what is the right prompt to put in? And of course, yeah, people give examples and show stories. And I've seen a video where one of these guys explained it pretty clearly. And then it was aha for me, eye-opening. That's why it is like it is. So the idea of all these prompts that you need to generate images comes from where are the images, what is the data set that created kind of the parameters in the models to create images. And they've taken just the internet resources, like whole web pages. And what you have on web pages is an image, and very often the programmers of a web page put something in the alt text, alt column, for those who cannot see it, where there is a description of the image. And that's one of the sources they've taken. So the way on how programmers describe in the alt field of an HTML page what the image is one of the key inputs to use in a prompt. So if it's the same language, then the likeliness that you create images that have been just described like this is high. That's source number one, where this language is used. Source number two was coming mostly from photographs and also from artwork, from museums and so on. And if you know how photographers describe their artwork, then you goes like terms like they have aperture, and what do you have? A full frame crop sensor, millimeter film camera, blah, blah.
Yeah, lens.
Yeah, the lens f/.1.8 and 1.4, and what is kind of all these things, a very technical term that very often photographers only know. That's how they describe it. And if you want to have now a image that looks like a photo, to create it like a real photo, you need to know this language, how photographers describe what their photos show. And the third one is for all the paintings, paint artworks. It's what museums have. This is oil painting by blah, blah, age of something. That's another information the system had. With these kind of descriptions, like photographers do it, like museums describe their pictures, and like the alt text of a web page, that's exactly the wording you have to use. And then it's fine. But very practical. So this is, again, me, the theoretical guy behind it, which like, but now that I understand this, my prompts are much, much better than before. Because I can imagine what this language looks like. And the other thing which I really found handy is a way to really get these prompts out of the system. So in Midjourney, there is now a new command which is called /describe. And if you have an uploaded image and you go for /describe, then you get the prompt that this Midjourney tool would describe the picture like. And if you reverse put it in, or in other things like Stable Diffusion, you get some results which are pretty close to what you have had before. But I think the mindset behind, if you understand where this comes from, opens the door on better prompts for the whole imagery.
But if this is the source of data that they use, it shouldn't be legally in the gray area. So it always sounds like all these data sets were created with stolen pictures. But if the main source is kind of photographers and whatever free pictures, it should be all fine. But I'm not sure what is the real source of data there.
That's a general question anyway. So if you look at a photo in a newspaper or in the internet, and somebody paid for showing this photo in the internet, then there is kind of the creator of the photo paid. But I, as an observer, can watch it and I can learn it as a human being, what it looked like. I can learn anything from the web. And if we say this is just a bit like a brain, it just learns. Okay, but it's a very gray area. So I'm pretty sure this kind of IP things will be. There is no way that they have really stolen stuff. It's just the open official things they've taken. But again, I'm not a lawyer. I have no idea. So what did you find this week?
Do you remember last week the AI world was talking about this leaked document that was found on Discord, allegedly written by a Google researcher, talking about the future of AI, and the summary of the document was basically, it will not be us,
Us
Google,
means Google.
will
Yeah, okay.
survive or win. But it will not be OpenAI either. So it's not gonna be the big ChatGPT who will be the dominant, AI platform in the future, which surprised me. They assume, or they are sure, or this person is sure, it will be the open source movement. And I was like, hey, there is no money behind this, and what can be so big? How can you compete with Google and Microsoft and all the billions that are behind this? So I started some research and to find out what's going on, and it's a crazy world. So the platform for the future seems to be Hugging Face. So they
Hugging Face.
open the
Never heard this one.
open source platform. So the platform for everything open source is Hugging Face. So it's https / huggingface.co.
CO, not com. That's interesting. So
It's
there's not
CO.
an M missing. It's CO. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, and this is where the craziness begins. If you go there, you will find everything. There are 15,000 companies distributing and working on the models and data sets. There are over 100,000 models that were created for companies all over the world. So they put in data and create models for their own business that can be used by them only. It's open source, so it doesn't have to be bought or like licensed from ChatGPT or OpenAI. So this is a huge world, and there are huge universities behind this with thousands of students working on these tools and data sets like every day. So this is like, if you go there, Peter, it will open up like a completely new world for you.
I imagine. And I'm not so much surprised by what you say, that the future is in the little applications, in the smaller companies, because I think programming a neural network is not that complicated. You can just go and have the algorithms and do it. The problem is always the model and the training data for the model. And if you want to have a general purpose thing like GPT, which does everything for everyone, this is a huge amount of data you need to be good enough for everything, for everyone. But if you go for a very specific, unique application that is just kind of predicting some vibrations and brakes in a car or so, then the data set is much smaller, and the precision you need is a different one. It will not be possible to do this with a large model. You need to have a very small one. And with these small ones, you have tons, millions, zillions of applications where you have your niche market. And this is where I think the AI tools will be prospering all over the globe. That's also why they all kind of grow like weed at the moment.
Yeah. In the end, if you need something for your support system at work, you don't need the huge GPT-4 that can create code and answer emails and do everything else. So why should you need something that big and license this huge thing? So in the end, it could be the small, fast models.
Absolutely. This is a crazy thing that just brings me to the idea. Why not having like all these little tiny models, the one for creating code, the one for creating music, the one for blah, blah, blah. And you have a layer above which selects or which kind of identifies what input is this, what request is this. And instead of giving it to the big, large one model only, it forwards it directly to the very small, absolutely fine-tuned thing for this, like in our brain. We have areas which just there for visual representations, for audible things and others. There is not one thing that does everything. And maybe it's just the future of this as well. And they just understood it pretty well, and which is another nightmare for Google, isn't it?
Yeah. So let me show you how it actually works.
Okay,
So
cool. I'm curious.
and on Hugging Face, if you go
Yeah.
there, you will see something like this. And this is like the AI community building the future starting page. So it's huggingface.co, as I said. And after reaching this website, you will see that there are like hundreds of thousands of things. If you scroll down, there are especially the tasks. And the tasks are basically small task-driven models that are created to solve just one problem, whether it's
That's what I just
translation
said. Yeah,
or
right.
whatever.
For those who don't see it, there is tasks, problem solvers, and then you have audio classification, image classification, object detection, answering questions, summarization, text classification, translation, and it would go on. So this is like, that's exactly the idea. That cool, amazing. And what is
Yeah.
the hugging chat? Would you genuinely scroll down? There's a hugging chat. What is this one?
Yeah, and if you click on top on the start chatting button, you will have like the big alternative to ChatGPT, which is open source. It's based on the leaked Llama model created by Meta, which is kind of in the gray zone between legally free and not free. So it's legally free for universities, and whenever the universities like Stanford create something out of the Llama model, it is free for the entire world. So it's a gray zone. And out of this leaked Llama model, which is huge, which is really comparable with the big models, they create now all these smaller models. And on Hugging Chat, you can choose, usually you can choose out of 2 or 3 models. Usually there is something like choose one that is more capable of creating code. Today, you just can choose the Llama, the most current Llama, and you just behave or like act as if it was ChatGPT. And I started with something completely stupid, like tell me the difference between a dog and 2 dogs. So to surprise this tool. And this Hugging Chat Llama-based model answered, I suppose there might be some confusion on your part. Are you asking what is the difference between a dog versus cats, for example? Or if your question was meant literally, did you mean 2 instead of there? So it really tells me I was wrong with the question. So I deliberately wanted to confuse this tool by asking, what is the difference between a dog and 2 dogs?
Did you do the same question with ChatGPT to see the difference? What it is?
I didn't. You could in the background, Peter, while I'm talking.
While you're talking, let me see. Yeah.
And I ask questions like, what is more difficult, walking upstairs, downstairs? It will answer every single question. Sometimes the quality is lower than on ChatGPT. Sometimes I feel it's better. So it's a great alternative if you look for something free. So this will be the future if all these universities contribute to these to the quality of these models, and 100,000 companies contribute to this. This will now I get it.
Absolutely. And there's a difference now, again, different model, different parameters trained on different data, and therefore different response. Chat does the following. I asked him, can you tell me the difference between 1 dog or 2 dog and 2 dogs? It was, yes, the primary difference between 1 dog and 2 dogs is the number of dogs present. When you have 1 dog, you have a single canine companion. This means you have to give them all of your attention, take care of their needs, blah, blah. On the other hand, when you have 2 dogs, blah, blah, blah. Other difference between, and this typical structure of a ChatGPT answer, which is a bit chatty, crazy. I like that one.
So let me show you just 2 of the tasks, and I'm gonna show you some more tasks maybe next week. But just 2 examples of what is possible with all these smaller models that are just capable of doing one thing. So you choose one of them, and I'm gonna show you just 2. So object detection. This is something that you can immediately take and use for free. This is like open source. And
Mhm.
there are possibilities you could use object detection like everywhere. And imagining that this is free and can be used everywhere, this opens up. Now I understand what is possible. So if you just, for example, upload a picture here and like the one that they show here, an African savanna, and it immediately in just a second tells you there is a zebra, giraffe, and
Mhm.
whatever. So
Yeah.
if you choose a football match, in just a second it will describe sports ball, a person, another person. It will
But it does not
immediately.
detect Messi. There is Messi on the screen for those who cannot see it.
It doesn't detect the actual
It is
person.
because it's soccer. The Americans have no idea of soccer. That's maybe the reason.
Yeah. And there's the next one, like an airport picture
Yeah.
with a bus, a person, truck. So it will
Absolutely.
immediately tell you what's on the
Mhm.
picture, which is incredible. And now you can run and well a camera that will detect things for free. So it will give you things like this for free. And image classification is another task. So if you show a tiger, it will in 0.87 seconds tell you it's a tiger, Panthera tigris, even which kind of tiger. Teapot, again, 0.9 seconds, it will recognize it's a teapot. So it's incredible what is possible. And these are just two small tasks that can now be used for free and can be implemented in your tools.
This is not an advertisement, not kind of a Dauerwerbesendung in German. I don't know the English word for this one, constant advertising show. But it's amazing. https://huggingface.co. Wonderful. I love it. Right away. I will spend the rest of the day exploring it most likely.
You still need to
Thank you,
work,
Adam.
Peter. Okay, let's talk next week.
Let's talk next week.
Stay tuned. There is more crazy stuff coming soon.